Part 5. Oh my gosh. We're hitting them all. We're going through a lot of different points. So it's important to remember that when people actually made change in the world, it was because there was some actual real consequence. They never made change in the world by just being upset and loud. There's lots of people who are upset and loud. They're called toddlers. That doesn't change anything. So, for example, when Gandhi had his march to the sea, the point of that was getting a whole bunch of people to collect salt, which the British had made illegal because they wanted to have a noose around everyone's neck. You need salt to live, and the British wanted you to get salt through them. So all these people marched to the sea, and that forced the British government's hand. They had to arrest so many people that it overburdened them. That was the real consequence. So many people got arrested that it collapsed the system. It's a layered, continual burden upon the British government to the point where they said, hey, we don't want to rule another country anymore. It's not profitable. So that was Gandhi's active pacifism. And that's about actions that have real consequences. Okay? But what became popular amongst yuppie college kids 60 years ago was complaining in public. And it was because of TV. They got to pat themselves on the back, and all their friends liked them because they complained on TV. And that completely distracted you away from real action that gets real results. So I want to look at how much of a horrific waste and a missed opportunity it is that you keep thinking you're going to get real results by complaining on TV. If you want someone to have a career where they are a skilled professional working 2,000 hours a year to find solutions and talk to the people in charge of governments and organizations and communities so that they can do the critical actions that can create real lasting change. That career, they got to get paid. So let's say they're getting paid $120K. Then you're going to need a fund that's earning interest, a dividend every year to pay them so that they can be paid in perpetuity forever from that fund. You're taking the interest from the fund to pay their salaries. So you're going to need about $1.5 million in your fund to pay that one person full-time forever, which is great. $1.5 million. How do you get that fund? Well, consider that every time someone showed up to a protest, there were dollar costs involved, whether it was transportation, food, yada yada. And there was also time costs that could have been invested into dollars. They could have been driving an Uber and made some money. So tally up how many dollars missed out on happening for every protester. A lot of protests, you're going to be looking at somewhere around $100. If it's local, it's less. If you're traveling, it's a lot more. But let's say it's $100 per person per protest. Just one day of protest, budget it for 100. Well, then that means for every 15,000 people who showed up one day for a protest, you could have taken $100 from each of them. Said, go work extra hours at your job. Don't spend the money on the protest day. Take all that dollars you would earn as a result and put it in a fund. And we're going to use the dividend from that fund to pay someone full time to actually work on this for reals, seriously. 15,000 people protested for a day. You could have had one extra position working on that problem you say you care about forever. This is the dividend, so it keeps paying out every year forever now. Okay, now tally up how many days people protested about the environment in the last 60 years. How many people, how many days? If you all had just been taking that amount of time and resources that you spent protesting, and instead you'd made some cash that you put into a fund, and the interest on that fund paid a professional to work on that problem for you, you would have literally tens, if not hundreds of thousands of professionals with research budget grants and offices who would be continually devoted for their entire career to finding solutions, speaking with all the different organizations, and political groups and working the solution for you, making it happen. But you wanted to complain on TV. That's what you wanted. You prefer complaining on TV.